Q and Munir Bahar. After a week of peaceful demonstration, I am profoundly disappointed to see the violence in our city this evening. I'm grateful to the many demonstrators who sought to make their concerns heard in a peaceful and respectful manner. Our city has a long history of peaceful demonstrations going back to the nation's earliest civil rights sit-in. 95% or more of the people who came out for today's demonstration sought to protest in that spirit. Unfortunately, a small group of agitators intervened and turned what was otherwise a peaceful demonstration into a violent protest. This is something that is unacceptable to me and everyone who lives in Baltimore. I want to say how much I appreciate the hard work of the Baltimore City Police, as well as law enforcement officers from our partner agencies. Again, I want to thank our partner agencies who lent support during the day today. They worked so hard today to keep order. I also want to thank another group of people, those people who put themselves in harm's way, to stand between those who wish to destroy our city and the men and women who were fighting so hard to protect it. Many members of the faith community were out there trying to calm the crowd and discourage violence. I want to also thank the Nation of Islam, who have been very present in our efforts to keep calm and peace in our city. Thank you to all of you who have joined me this evening to call for an end of violence in our city. Now is a time of calm, for peace, and for prayer. Now I'd like to bring up Mr. Jason, I forget your last name. Downs, excuse me, I'm very sorry. Mr. Jason Downs, who represents the family. Mr. Downs.
Violence only leads to more violence. But we now have an opportunity in front of the entire world to show that we can break the cycle of violence. We can be leaders. Let us police ourselves. But in order to police ourselves, we cannot give the Baltimore Police Department any reason to respond to violence with more violence. Because if we follow that old saying, an eye for an eye, then we will all lose our sight. And the path toward justice is right in front of our eyes. Let us see clearly. But in order to take that first step along that path, we must be peaceful. Please be peaceful. And now I'm going to introduce to you Frederica Gray. Frederica Gray is the twin sister of Freddie Gray. Frederica.
My family want to sing. Can y'all please stop the violence? Freddie Gray would not want this. Freddie's father and mother does not want no violence. Violence does not get justice. Thank you.
And now I introduce to you Pastor Jamal Bryant.
Thank you. We're appreciative of the presence of Frederica Gray, whose family is preparing for the funeral in just 48 hours and would in fact find just enough strength to come and share with those citizens of Baltimore, literally from around the country, to stand with her family, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, saying in no uncertain terms, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A few weeks before Dr. King was assassinated, he said something very striking that rings a chord for what it is that we're seeing on tonight. He said that riots are the voice of the unheard. And I think that what it is that we were able to bear witness to this evening is, in fact, the echo of so many young people who are frustrated simply because they do not feel that their voices have been heard. They are, in fact, overwhelmed because they don't have the questions answered, and they feel as if it's the same cycle. I want to say to all of you who are, in fact, our comrades in the struggle and the pursuit towards finding equality and justice for Freddie Gray, that the sound of justice always sounds louder than the sound of violence. It is our call tonight that we are believing without any contradiction that all of us believe that we want justice and not revenge. Revenge never takes the place of justice. Let me also share that what it is that you witnessed today was not the byproduct of outside agitators as much as it was the fruit of internal frustration. Of so many people who are trying to figure out, will the cycle of behavior change? Will we get answers? And so we march on in victory, and we march on in the pursuit of justice. As our mayor intonated just moments ago, 99% of those who participated over the last couple of days have in fact handled and carried themselves in a high place of dignity. Tomorrow, houses of faith are going to be open for prayer for those who are in fact grieving because of this loss and because of the perpetual cycle of injustice that seems to plague us. We invite you to please go to any house of worship that is in fact ascribed to your theology. On Monday at 11 o'clock, all of us will in fact be coming together at New Shiloh Baptist Church for the final viewing and funeral services of Mr. Gray. In that interim, let me say to you that we are not asking you not to protest. We're not asking you not to lift your voice. We're not asking you not to, in fact, express your feelings. But the Bible is clear: be angry, but sin not. Rioting and looting will not get us justice, and nor will it turn the tide. We have 3 different independent investigations taking place, and we're waiting for them with expectation that the answer will in fact come back with all clarity that justice will be served, not just to Freddie Gray, but symbolically for all of the families that feel as if they have been wronged and are in fact the fruit of the miscarriage of justice. We march forward believing that this little hiccup in time will not put the brakes on the movement. We will continue to march, we will continue to protest, we will continue to lend our discontent, but we will do so in a high level of decency, a spirit of excellence, and the heritage of those who went before us, of the likes of Juanita Jackson Mitchell, Anoya McMillan, Kwesi Mfume, Clarence Mitchell Sr., who showed us how it is that you can in fact speak truth to power. We follow in that same model because one of the great abolitionists that turned America upside down comes from Maryland, Frederick Douglass, who said power concedes nothing without a demand. And as a consequence, we demand that justice will be served to this family, and we'll move forward hoping in expectation that the due process will serve us well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor. At this time, before I open it up for questions, I wanted to let Ms. Gray and her representative leave, because she's not taking any questions. So if you could just give them a second. Thank you again. Can somebody escort them? Okay. And now I will bring up the other, and where's, and then,
Brother.
Thank you. All right, we're going to open it up for very few questions. I'll just start off by saying, as far as the police response, the police has done, I think, one question and answer this evening, and will continue to make themselves available for updates on our public safety response. This is about our call for peace in the city, so that we'll be taking questions about that. Any questions?
Mayor, is there anything that could have been done a little differently beforehand to head off some of the stuff that was happening down close to Inner Harbor and in the yards this evening? Like, did you have a sense that they might try to go that way?
Well, we've had these types of conversations before, and I've made it very clear that I worked with the police and instructed them to do everything that they could to make sure that the protesters were able to exercise their right to free speech. It's a very delicate balancing act, because while we try to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. And we worked very hard to keep that balance and to put ourselves in the best position to de-escalate, and that's what you saw this evening.
Mayor, did you have any contact whatsoever with the organizers of this march, and were there any pleas to those people to refrain from any type of violence similar to what happened today?
Yeah, many of you were here with me yesterday when we made the plea for peace. And I know that we have other people who would like to speak to this as well. It's very clear that the people out there who are seeking justice were out there trying to calm the crowd and trying to make sure that nothing was destroyed. As difficult as a time we're having now, dealing with this tragedy, we still have a beautiful city that people want to protect. And many people, if you watched any of the live feeds, you could actually hear people in the crowd trying to encourage calm, trying to encourage peace, trying to stop individuals from throwing things at the police. And that's why I mentioned them several times during my remarks. I really want to thank those individuals who were trying to seek, like us, they want justice, but they also, like us, respect the process and want peace in the city.
Do you have any indication of who might be responsible? In the case of Ferguson, the officials there and in the surrounding towns pointed to outsiders, people who came in from other areas to incite the violence that ensued there. Is there any indication that you think it might be the case here, that these were not Baltimoreans but others?
We're taking a look at that right now. We're finding out the identifications of those individuals who've been arrested, so I don't want to speak prematurely. I know that some of the people were actually out there if you want to come to the podium.
Councilman Scott, everybody, from being outside there today and then actually talking to local organizers on the ground, they were telling me, saying that yes, these folks that were inciting this may have Baltimore, people from Baltimore participating, but the folks inciting this response and the incorrect response were definitely from the outside. And again, as the mayor said, you can see some of the young guys from Baltimore on video saying stop, 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 because this is not what they wanted. And we have to point out these pariah who go from town to town, ruining people's protests, using people's emotions for their own benefit and their own agenda.
We have time for one more question. All right. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all. I know this was, many of you have things to do tomorrow morning. And I'm very grateful that you're all here. And thank you again, Council President Young and Councilman Scott. Thank you all.
I encourage you one-on-one interviews.